2016, I was again transferred to the provincial serious and violent crimes unit.
In all of your years in the police services, have you noted confessions in the past?
I have, my lord.
On the 5th of March, on the 5th of March, you were requested to assist in a matter, is that correct?
That is correct, my lord.
Do you recall who contacted you?
I was contacted by my provincial head, Brigadier Anana, my lord.
What were you asked to do?
I was asked to come to Saldanha to take a confession, my lord.
What time did you arrive in Saldanha?
I arrived in Saldanha, I think it was about 8:30 this morning, my lord.
And where did you go to? When you got to Saldanha?
I went to the police station. I heard afterwards it's the sea border police, but I went to that building, my lord.
Prior to this, did you have any role to play in any investigations in this matter or interview with any witnesses up until that point?
No, my lord.
Tell us what happened on the 5th of March at sea border.
My lord, when I arrived at the police station, I was told that the accused is not there, that they are at the hospital. So I went to go get something to eat, my lord, and came back. When I came back, I was shown the office where I was going to take the confession, my lord. And that is where I waited outside the office and prepared the office, my lord. And afterwards, when the accused arrived, I was inside the office and the accused was brought to me, accused number 1, my lord, Jacqueline Apollos. And that is when I took the confession, my lord.
Now, we already received the video on Friday with Warrant Officer May presenting the video.
Yes, my lord.
Because I can see the technology has not been set up this morning, but we don't have to show the video again unless it's absolutely necessary.
Yes, indeed, my lord. I do, however, want to hand you the document itself, Colonel. Can you please have a look at this? It has already been entered into the record as Exhibit KK. Is that the document that you completed on the 5th of March?
This is the document, my lord.
And we saw from the video that as you proceeded in the taking of the statement, you had Jacqueline Apollos sign as you went along. Is that correct?
That is correct, my lord.
In fact, from the video, we could observe that you sat rather closely to Mr. Apollos.
That is correct, my lord. As I'm sitting now, the accused was sitting on my right.
Correct, it within an arm's length.
Correct, my lord.
It's further correct that from the video we could observe Mr. Apollos looking at what you were writing. Is that correct?
That is correct, so my lord.
And it was done very meticulously because as you wrote, he was watching and then he added on as it went about. Is that correct?
That is correct, my lord.
We also noted from the video that you afforded Mr. Apollos the opportunity, or when it came to the inquiry about his injuries, you actually documented that?
I did, my lord.
And you even had the videographer take note of those injuries. In fact, the videographer zoomed in when it came to it.
That is correct, my lord.
What was the explanation given to you by Mr. Apollos as to how he sustained those injuries? Do you recall, or do you want to refer to the document?
I can't recall the exact words, my lord, but I will just have to refresh my memory. But I know that the accused had an injury on the left eye, I think, on his wrist and on his knee, my lord, but I'll just confirm. Yes, my lord. On page 13 of page 26, I asked the accused, it was in Afrikaans, my lord, that I asked him if he had any injuries, and his exact words were, my rechtervoet geswik,
My right foot twisted,
linker knie gekap,
left knee knocked or pumped,
en linker oog was rooi.
left eye was red.
We also noted from the video that you made a very concerted effort to take the accused into your confidence and asked him to tell you if there was anyone that forced him to say whatever. Do you confirm that?
Just one moment before you move on to that.
Certainly.
Because that's also apparent from the video, and it's noted that on each of the injuries, the accused was asked, how did you sustain these injuries? And it was noted by the colonel.
Indeed.
Just for completeness before we go to the next one. So it's bottom of the page, 13. So next to each injury, then the explanation provided by the accused was then entered. So if the witness can just also place that on record.
Certainly, my lord. Colonel, you've heard the Honourable Court. Do you want to please indicate what your notes were on that?
Yes, my lord, by voet geswik,
Twisted my foot.
his answer was, toe ek uit die polisievan spring.
When I jumped out of the police van,
Linker knie gekap by polisievan toe ek inklim.
bumped the left knee against the police van when I got into the van.
Linker oog seer gemaak teen die muur
Injured the left eye against the wall
toe ek gestruggle het teen die polisiebeamptes om los te kom.
when I wrestled with the police to free myself.
Thank you. Now, throughout this entire interview, you've already placed this on record. You communicated in Afrikaans, correct?
I did, my lord.
How would you describe...
Can I just clarify?
So,
What struck me, Colonel, and now that I know that you worked in Joshlin in your earlier life, it makes a lot of sense to me. You spoke to Mr. Apollos in a very informal way and broke it down simplified everything in slangs often as is used on the street.
Yes, my lord, I try to get to the level of the person I'm communicating with.
So it's not the highfalutin Afrikaans that's in the form.
No, my lord.
It was simplified and sometimes using slang words to describe it.
I tried my very best to explain and to, how can I say, om op die vlak van die persoons aan wie ek praat te kom, my lord, because sometimes people won't understand if you speak this high English words or high Afrikaans.
To be in the level of the accused, my lord, because one might not understand the English contained in the form.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, my lord. That was an attempt to make the person that you are interviewing comfortable and at ease. Is that also?
And to understand them, that is the most important thing, my lord.
And whilst you were interviewing Mr. Apollos, how did he come across to you? What were your observations of him?
My lord, he was at ease, as I can say. He was not nervous or he didn't look scared to me, my lord.
What I want to take you to is the question and answer part. That is after page 19. That is the time when you had certain questions that you wanted clarified.
Correct, my lord.
In those questions that you put to him, those answers that he gave were after you inquired about certain factors that you needed clarity on, correct?
Correct, my lord.
Those came from him freely. He was at ease when he gave you those answers. We saw from the video. Confirm all of that?
Correct, my lord.
What would have happened if at any point he said to you, he doesn't want to proceed with this, that he was forced by someone to say these things? What would you have done?
I would have stopped, my lord. I explained to him, I think in the beginning, that at any time he has the right to say, I want to stop now, and then I would have stopped.
What would you have done if he told you that he was told by someone what to say to you? What would you have done?
I would have noted it on the form, my lord.
And the whole process would have stopped, correct?
Correct, my lord.
Has that happened in the past, in your experience, where someone does not want to proceed with the confession?
No, not that I can recall, my lord.
And once this process was completed, what did you do with this document?
I gave it to the investigating officer, Captain Lombard, my lord.
What became of Mr. Apollos? What happened to him after you completed it?
Mr. Apollos, I gave back to the police officials that brought him, and that's when I left, my lord.
My lord, I don't intend taking the witness through the entire document. We've already seen the video, and he's confirmed the contents. At this stage, that is all I have for the witness.
Document is now formally entered as Exhibit KK.
Yes,
And
indeed.
it was,
Provisionally.
It was only the video that was confirmed by Warrant Officer May And this document was provisionally admitted until confirmed by Colonel Pretorius.
Indeed, my lord.
Did you get the original of the medical examination by Dr. Zimmerman?
My lord, what we think happened to that document was that it's in Ms. Swanepoel's box. When she returns, we will uplift that and supplement the court
Don't
file.
forget about it.
We won't, my lord.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Harrelson.
Thank you, my lord.
In the meantime, Captain Lombard, I think, are you going to set up the... So you can just you can start with the other issues, Mr. Harrelson, and then hopefully by the time you get to the video, if needs be, we should be ready. I can see it's on the screen there, it must just be projected. Thank you. You may proceed.
Thank you, my lord.
Are you comfortable with that microphone, or should we place it more at a better angle for you?
Thank you, my lord. I think that will be comfortable. Morning, Colonel Pretorius.
Mornings.
I want to start with your position that you hold now as Lieutenant Colonel in the Serious and Violent Crimes Unit. I'm correct that your office is in Cape Town?
Correct, my lord.
And is that the office that I'm aware of there on the corner of Barrack Street and some other street?
That is our, may I say our head office, my lord, but I am sitting in Makassar.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. Sitting where?
In Makassar.
Makassar.
Correct, my lord.
Have you had, before you came and was instructed to attend to this so-called confession of Mr. Apollos, have you had contact or spoken to Sergeant Johnson and Constable Sekobi?
I know Sergeant Johnson, but I don't know Sergeant Sekobi, my lord. But
Constable.
I didn't speak to them.
So you never spoke to any of the two?
Are you talking about that morning?
Close to or before, within a short period of time before you were asked to handle this statement of accused one. You haven't spoken to any of them?
Now, my lord, they are seated in Cape Town at that building. And I don't go a lot to that building, so I didn't even see them.
Okay. I want to call on your memory. Unfortunately, we don't have the video there now, but I'm sure everybody who's viewed it, I viewed it a few times. When we viewed it, I did make a mention, and based on record, that right from the beginning, Mr. Apollos' right hand, which was closest to the video operator, was visibly, in my opinion, swollen. Did you notice that?
I have to look at the video. And I just want to...
My lord, I did place it on record when the video was playing for us.
Yeah, I made a note of it. Warrant Officer May. Um, 11:37. 11 minutes 37.
Yes, that's when at that specific time I made a notice. It's actually any time from 6 minutes.
Because we can go back and forth on the video, but that's the point.
Yes.
Roundabout, if we started 10 minutes in, we should be fine, because that's when we see the hand. I didn't zoom in on it myself, but I made a note of the time.
Yes.
When you mentioned it, I asked the prosecutor to give me the timestamp, and I made a note of it.
Yes, my lord. I submit that if one views it, it's also clearly visible anytime from 6, even before 6 minutes onwards.
But it seems to be the projector is not on.
I'm informed the projector's warming up.
Oh, the projectors will be on.
Maybe I could just proceed slowly, my lord.
So
But,
you can warm up.
yes.
In the meantime, until the projector is warmed up enough.
Yeah.
And then
Thank you, my lord. Colonel Pretorius, now we're going to try and view it in court here. I'm asking you again to delve into your memory. I haven't seen any note or anything written on Exhibit KK that you have noted a swollen, at least a swollen right hand. You don't recall that?
I don't recall that. I didn't notice it, my lord, and I see the accused also didn't complain about it.
And do you expect an accused to complain about what is wrong with him? You don't take the initiative to visibly look at what's wrong with him?
My lord, I could only see his eye that was red, it was very visible. And the others, I asked the accused to show me the other injuries he had, my lord.
While we're there, you obviously didn't notice.
oh, there we go. Now we need to dim the lights, I think. Let's just see whether is there any way to zoom in on the video?
My lord, I think the sun from outside
Yeah, no,
is
that's
making
the
it
glare.
difficult. Yeah, it's making it difficult.
But Colonel, a still part of the video is currently on the screen behind you. I know you can't see it. If you can just maybe, if you want to go closer to the screen, you may also do that. So one can see the right hand of Mr. Apollos. And Mr. Harmse says it's his impression that that hand is swollen. If you can just have a look at it. Where the arrow is pointed.
I'm not sure, my lord, I can be, but I can't say.
My lord, maybe if I may suggest that I place my laptop in front of the colonel.
In the witness.
In front of the witness.
In front of the witness, that will be fine.
If I can just find the video quickly, my lord.
Yes. Yes, you may do that. If you can just give me the exhibit number, I can find it, of Dr. Nell's examination of the morning.
It's AA, my lord. I think it's exhibit AA.
Did you find it?
I have it, my lord.
Certainly. Can somebody maybe just assist? Are you going to take it there yourself? I think that's
if I
better.
may.
Yes,
If I may.
certainly.
Thank you.
Just don't trip over the wires. So, Mr. Harms has taken his laptop. Just for the record, I'm describing what's happening. His laptop to the witness stand. The witness is now having a close look at the still on the screen, where Mr. Harms can point out to the witness what he's referring to. Good. Good.
Thank you, Your Lord. I've got the video on from the beginning. I just wanted to let Colonel Pretorius have a look. Are you managing there, Colonel Pretorius?
I am, my lord.
I would also submit that it's clear on the video that there's a mark on his wrist as well, which could have been from handcuffs. Do you see the swollen right hand? It's visibly swollen.
I'm not sure, my lord, but I can see now there's a mark there
On the wrist.
The mark on the wrist.
on the right, on the yeah, my lord. But that day I didn't notice it.
Can you see his hand is swollen?
I'm not a doctor, but I can't say if it's swollen or if it's just a mark of the handcuffs, my lord. But I can see there is something.
What I'm specifically referring to is on the backhand, from the knuckles in the direction of the wrist. That part is quite rounded.
It looks like it, my lord.
Thank you.
Can we move the laptop, or you want to keep it there?
I can, my lord, maybe we should just leave it there.
Yeah. Are you comfortable with the laptop in front of you?
I am, my lord. It's fine. Thank you, my lord.
And I see you can maneuver it yourself with a mouse.
Yes, I can, my lord.
Please, thank you.
Thank you, my lord. So it would seem to me that, as you've mentioned just now when I've asked you, you do not go to much trouble to visibly ascertain whether an accused has injuries, seems uncomfortable. Is that correct?
No, my lord. He didn't complain about it. What I saw, his left eye was red, and the other injuries I asked him to show me, and he didn't show me that injury, my lord, or that swelling.
With you mentioning the left eye was red, I submit that it's very clear that the left eye was more than just red, it is quite swollen too.
Yes, my lord, but it was red. To me, it was red.
Yeah, the inside of the eye.
Correct, my lord.
Yes. You obviously know that when an accused, at that point in time when it is time for a confession, he had already been arrested. You agree with me?
Correct, my lord.
Yes. So I submit to you, when you gave evidence now, I put it to you, when you said he was at ease, I can say he was not nervous, not scared. I disagree with you strongly. If you had a good look at the whole video, it, to me, is very clear that Mr. Apollos was very concerned. You didn't see that?
No, my lord, to me he was at ease.
I find it strange, you have a lot of experience, but you say that what I also find interesting is that your evidence that you said you've never had a situation where an accused somewhere along the line stopped and said, no, I was unduly influenced or threatened or injured, and then mentioned it to you and then you stopped the confession. That's never happened.
It did not, my lord.
No. The question is, from your evidence, you never had the experience that halfway through a confession or a statement, the accused says, no, but I've been told that was your evidence by somebody else what to say, or I've been assaulted or unduly influenced, that you had to stop the interview.
No, my lord, I never had it.
It's a pity we don't have the video now
It's there.
properly, but if you go to...
It's there,
Yes,
and he's got it in front
Yes.
of him on your laptop.
Colonel, would you be able to move that video on to the time 00:00:19:12?
Okay, so we're also going to ask the one on the screen to be moved there. Do you want the audio as well? Or do you just want the
If the
visuals?
audio is available, it'll obviously help a lot, because I'm going to refer to what was being said there. And that part, if I may stop now.
Okay, pause.
Colonel, you would have noticed, and you obviously won't remember, but if you look at that again, you will see when you asked him, Mr. Apollos, if he wants to proceed, will he voortgaan? He gently shook his head first, as if saying no.
So, just a moment. So then we have to go back because I didn't look at it for that.
And
Just a moment. Let the video be played. Is that it?
I noticed it again.
Okay. So, to me it looks like nodding.
It looks like left to right.
Oh, well, then you and I may be looking at it differently.
Can we have a look at that again?
The way I see it, from my vantage point, it's nodding up and down, not side to side.
May I have it played again, my lord?
Yes, you can play it again.
Thank you.
Remember, the accused is sitting with his head angled to the right.
Tilted, yes, my lord. There, my lord. First he nods and then he...
I don't see the side to side,
Thank you, my lord.
but you can argue with that
Yes.
later. But what I see is nodding up and down.
Then, Colonel, your words to him was...
Just one moment. I just want to make a note. So the note I'm writing for myself, Mr. Harmse, is that I have to look at the video again and look at it up close. So what I'll do is, maybe still during the course of the day, when we have a short break, or this afternoon when I get home, is to play it at a slow speed.
Thank you,
At a quarter of the speed, look at it frame by frame. If from where I sit and with the glare it looks different, then we leave that for argument, but I will have a look at it.
I'm indebted to you, Lordship. Colonel, while we're on this point, what is your take on that? What do you see there with it on the laptop?
I don't get it, my lord, but he answered yes, he answered yeah, when I asked him the question.
Your words then were to him, moet hard praat. So he said something, but we couldn't hear it clearly. Is that correct? Do you agree?
I'm not...
Just play it again. Because I could hear what he said.
Can I have a look at it?
Certainly.
Ik wil dat die betekenis wat die heel erg kan dingen worden verstaan. Wat die nog steeds volgen. Ja. Hoe hard ik kan ook niet worden volgen.
I could hear from where I'm sitting now.
He said yes.
Ja, meneer.
Yes, yes, indeed.
And then afterwards ons kan voortgaan.
The next point I want to just, my Lord, and Colonel Pretorius want to go to is 00.27. 00. Colon 27.
En hoe? Hoe politie anders?
Are we at, is that the place, Captain?
Are you there?
So it's at 27 minutes. Are you playing from 26? All right, so let's start from 26 then.
Ik behoud het. Ik zeg maar. Dat is al bijna. Toen we de politie staat, was het zo'n... Zo wat het maar was. En dan komen we nog weer die elkaar af in. En dan komen we er weer af. Ja, dat is alles. Ik wil niet zien.
Captain, my point that I'm trying to, or the aspect I'm trying to point at there is that when you asked the accused, after he confirmed he had already made a statement, you asked him why does he want to make another statement, and he took a long pause, he waited a while.
That's correct, my lord.
So it wasn't just freely coming yes, and then his words were after his thinking, he said, om te bewys dat ek die waarheid praat. You do see that and remember that.
Correct, my lord.
You will always also remember and notice that when you asked Mr. Pollis whether he already made a statement,
It's page 11 of 26.
yeah, page 11. His answer was gisterand meneer aan 2 polisiebeamptes by Saldanha. Hierso wat ons nou is meneer. Do you see that?
Yes, my lord.
You didn't ask him anything about who these policemen were and what he had said.
No, my lord.
I also want to just, if I may, my lord, then go back to page 10 of Exhibit KK. What I also found interesting is on page 10, more or less in the middle of the page, the English question is, do you expect any benefits if you make a statement? Afrikaans verwag jy enige voordele as jy 'n verklaring maak, en his answer was, asseblief meneer. You with me there?
I am, my lord.
Then your question, Colonel, was, wat se voordele, en he answered, as die hof miskien vir my vrylaat om te beskerm teen die gemeenskap. Now that you wrote twice. Now, did that not ring alarm bells as to a confession being made, and he's actually expecting some advantage or benefit?
No, my lord. What I understood by his answer was that he wants the court, if the court release him, to protect him against the community.
Yes, and that would be his benefit.
But it's not a benefit that he wants to be released, or he wants to become a witness or something.
Isn't that for argument, Mr. Harms?
That will definitely also be left for argument, my lord. Thank you.
And just to return to the comment you made about it being written twice, you will recall, as I'm sure you also went through the video with the fine-tooth comb. I can see that when he asked a follow-up question on the asseblief meneer.
Yes, my lord.
So when he got to the next question, where the question would have been, if so, what benefits? Then the colonel says to him, he's just going to write the same answer because he had I've just asked you the question.
Yes, I noticed.
And you answered that. So that's the reason why it's duplicated, and it's explained in the session to the accused. I'm now going to write it here because I've asked you the follow-up question and it relates to that.
Thank you, my lord. I'm not going to return to the video, Colonel. It was pointed out by myself and placed on record.
So can we remove the picture on the screen now, if you're not going to return to the video?
Well, what I wanted to deal with further, I've already asked the Colonel about when Mr. Pollis walked around
To to the videographer.
To the videographer's
for the
side.
pictures.
I just want to confirm again, you couldn't see him walk behind you to the videographer, correct?
No, my lord.
You
He
didn't
walked,
know.
he walked behind me, so I
Yes, he walked behind you. And I put it on record, and I'm saying it again, that it was very obvious that he was crippled. Walking cripple, I would say.
I couldn't see, my lord.
Colonel, I'm not going to be much longer with you. I do want to go to one very important aspect, though. If you can turn to the questions part.
I think it starts on 19.
If we can have a look at
The
page.
real question starts on 20, but the whole issue of that he's going to ask him questions, or he wants to ask him questions.
Yeah.
That's on 19, and then the questions starting with the 20,000 is from 20, and then on the Roneo.
Yes, my lord. I want to specifically go to the following page, which is marked page 3.
Yes, I have it.
Colonel, you very clearly stated that you have no knowledge, had no knowledge, and you also confirmed when I asked you, had you spoken to anybody who were involved in this case? You confirmed that you know nothing about the case, you were not involved. My question to you now is, about, if one counts, if you count, you have Exhibit KK in front of you on page 3. There's a number 3 on the page on the right side top of the questions. If you count the lines from the bottom, the last line is antwoord nee meneer, and we count that as 1, then we go up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's a vraag at line 9 from the bottom.
Just give me the question so that I can find it. If you read the question, I'll be able to find
The
it.
question in Afrikaans is vraag, Joshlin het nie skool toe gegaan daai dag nie. Are you there with me,
So that's the
Colonel?
third last question on that page.
Indeed, my lord.
Yes.
Are you there with us, Colonel?
I am, my lord.
Yes. Now my question to you is, why did you ask that question?
My lord, when the accused made his statement to me, and I think he talked about early in the day, so that is why I wanted to, it just bothered me as to if the child was in school, where, how can it be that time of the day?
You see, Colonel, I've gone through this statement that you wrote down very many times. And the times that are being referred to by Mr. Pollis. On page 17 he says, omtrent so 1:15 he referred to Kelly that came back and went back to, after lunch, went back to work. And her instructions, according to what is written here, the contested version is that Kelly would have told him after she goes back to work, then he must take Joshlin over to Makalima. Now that would be well after, or at least after 1 o'clock. You with me? You agree with what I'm saying?
No, Mr. Arms. Your reading starts maybe a bit later, and then you place the 1 o'clock before the incident described. If you go to page 16, you go to the 5th line from the bottom. It reads, en toe die maandag meneer, toe Joshlin Smith van die werk af vir lunch huis toe kom. Dit was 12 uur past 12 se kant, wat sê die werk vir lunch kom. Toe sê sy vir my, dat sy het klaar gepraat met Makalimo en ek moet vir Joshlin omvat na Makalimo as sy terug gaan werk toe.
Indeed.
And then of course we skip a little bit and then it says omtrent so 15:15 na 1 uur se kant het Kelly, and then the question that was interposed there, terug werk toe gegaan.
Yes. That's what I'm referring to.
So the discussion started at about 12 past 12. She only went to work shortly before 1.
Yes.
So your statement to the witness is, this must have been past 1, and that's why I interjected.
Yes, my lord, maybe I should just rephrase that, because
just rephrase, because
Colonel, you heard the discussion now. What I'm mentioning, saying to you, putting to you, about just before 1 o'clock. That's the time that Kelly had now already gone back to work. You can see what Mr. Paulus is saying, and he had apparently instructions to take Joshlin to Makalima's house, and that would have been then after or around about 1 o'clock. Do you with me there? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do, my lord, but
Yes, so what I was referring to about why did you ask Mr. Paulus, not ask, you actually told him. Your question was actually a statement. Joshlin het nie skool toe gegaan daai dag nie. Now putting to you is that in the time context, in the first place you didn't know whether Joshlin was school going, and in the second place you didn't know if she was school going when her school would have been out. She would have come home. Correct? You with me?
my lord, according to me, it's still during school hours. According to me, it's during school hours. 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock, I think the school is not out at that time. That's why I asked that question, my lord.
I put it to you that I still do not accept, you're not convincing me as to why you asked this question. Putting to you that this, to my mind, shows that you had some information, because there was a big thing about the fact that Joshlin, and for that matter Requin as well, didn't go to school that day. You've never heard that before?
No, my lord.
At the end of the video, after the questions, My Lord, I submit, there are things being said, and I've got it written down here after the final question on page 3.
Can you just pause, Mr. Adams? So there were 2 places that I made a note.
Yes, my Lord.
It was with the question of wie is Makalima,
Yes.
waar bly sy, wat doen sy?
Yes.
And the answer was, ek het die adres gisterand uitgeken, meneer. Sy koop klomp goed by almal in. It's a little bit more on the question and the answer on the video.
Yes, my Lord. I wrote down there that I heard that Mr. Poller said sy bly in Middelpos, and then something about Sangoma, and that's not written down here.
And then at the very last question, there was also something more.
Some communication, words exchanged and not written down. I've got on here Sunday of Maandag.
So we can go to the questions and answers, unless of course you just want to ask the Colonel about it.
I will ask him first, my Lord.
But it might be that it would be better to go to those spaces. It's close to the end of the video. Did you maybe make a point of where it was?
Yes, at 1 hour 28 minutes.
1 hour 28 minutes. Is that going back to the question about Makalimo?
Yes, no. That's after the Makalima question comes at 1 minute 24.
So let's go to 1 minute 24, 1 hour 24
sorry,
minutes.
1 hour 24.
I'll play it from there. Colonel, you may turn around if you so wish. If we start at 1:24, it'll give us a good idea as to
Smith en Joshlin en Kelly dieselfde en Kelly van en Kelly dieselfde.
next question.
As hulle dieselfde is. It's not a little. The videos and wow, and what we see.
Can we just pause there for now? So the question, that's what you're referring to. Yes.
Thank you, Madam. Colonel, we've heard now on your question, wie is Makalima, waar bly sy en wat doen sy? Mr. Pollis, which was not written down there, says sy bly in Middelpos, and then you also didn't write down what you asked after that, and you said, wat is sy, wat doen sy? Sangoma, you used the word Sangoma. Why did you use that?
I just wanted to know who this Makalima is, but I see I didn't write that question, my lord, and I can't explain that one.
My question, Colonel, just listen closely. See if you can explain to the court, why did you use the word Sangoma?
It's only because I wanted to know who's this Makalima, my lord.
But Colonel, my lord, if I can just make one more. My Colonel, you could have asked him, you could have used the word electrician, you could have used the word cake baker, you could have used any occupation or anything. Why the word Sangoma?
My lord, the only explanation is because he told me that I sold the child.
But you will agree with me, and I put it to you, it's not just Sangomas that buy children. Child trafficking are not necessarily Sangomas. People who buy children are not by definition Sangomas.
According to me, it's Sangomas, it's buying children, my lord.
Then just on that, to round off, if we can go then to 1 hour 28, just want to we can just listen to the few words at the end I've written down.
Karena Joshlin Smith perang saya bukan ibu kiai akan ibu saya pada perang itu saya bukan Joshlin saya di Soda atau masih pada saya belum saya makan di rumah perang di Soda di mana di Soda ini lagi yang mau semua
Now, page 3 ends there.
Yes, my lord.
But I can still see the colonel writing.
Yes.
After this answer was given. It's not only near meneer, because near meneer is only 2 words.
Indeed.
And I was wondering whether there was a missing page, but I could also see on the video that he was writing closer to the bottom of a page. Did you see that, Colonel?
I saw, my lord.
Did you hear the further conversation?
I heard, my lord.
Good.
The police mentioned Sondag op Maandag. You mentioned Sondag op Maandag. I'm asking you, why did you mention Sondag op Maandag? Did you get it from a police? Because the answer there says, nee meneer, he says he didn't know when they spoke. And I heard you say Sondag of Maandag, then he said, ja meneer, die Maandag. I wrote it down. Your comment?
My Lord, I wanted to clear up whether it was the Sunday or the Monday, because the accused talked about the Sunday and the accused talked about the Monday. The accused first talked about the Sunday, that I think I wrote it down, that Kelly told him something about the child. And he talked about the Monday when they took the child.
The context was that on the Sunday, she told him about the plan, if one can call it that, and the reasons therefore.
Correct, my Lord.
Then at about 12 o'clock, the time that we dealt with earlier, when she came home, she told him, but she had spoken to Makalima about the money already.
That is correct, my Lord.
Thank you, my Lord. As to the injuries part and the absence of any serious decisions by Colonel Pretorius, I will argue that.
Certainly.
Thank you. I have no more questions, Ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Any re-examination, Mr. Harriman?
Yes, my Lord, I do have one question following up from the injuries that were highlighted by Mr. Harrison. Colonel Pretorius, I'm not going to take you through the whole video. You have seen the video for yourself, right? Throughout this interview with Mr. Apollos, we see his arms comfortably on the table. You confirm that?
That is so, my Lord.
In fact, when he was asked to sign, he comfortably signed the documents, no issues, no complaints.
He signed with that hand, my Lord, and he didn't complain.
Thank you. I have nothing further, my Lord.
Thank you, Colonel. It seems to me, Mr. Adams, do you want your laptop back, or do you want to ask a question that you missed? You may ask the question.
I just want to put on record that my learned colleague saying comfortably is an observation that I find strange.
Both of you had made observations, and you will recall one of them I didn't agree with you. I take that whence it comes. When we'll deal in argument, we will deal with that. It's the matter of the way people ask questions. Yes.
Thank you, my Lord. May I just collect my laptop?
Are you scared he's going to leave with it?
I'm afraid it's going to fall off, my Lord.
Good. So, Colonel, just before you get up, Mr. Adams will collect the laptop. Now, I can understand that he's scared because it's hanging over to where you have to get up.
Oh, I'll catch it, my Lord.
So it doesn't slip.
Thank you, my Lord.
Right. Thank you, Colonel. You may be excused. And safe travels back to Cape Town. Yes, Ms. Harriman, do we have another stopper that can take us up to a time?
My Lord, Sergeant Fortuin has been arranged for 11 o'clock. He is not here yet. That is the next witness I intend to proceed
on
with.
On what basis do you decide what time a witness must be here?
My Lord, he indicated last night that he had to fill out some documents and paperwork at court to enable his traveling. So he was going to start at his office and then return. My Lord, I also anticipated that
Could have been done over the weekend.
That was the difficulty, my Lord. He had trouble filling out the documents.
You see, I don't know whether you can hear that I'm actually sick. I don't want to waste time. Now, I know that Captain Siakui is here, but Ms. Nkabai need to consult. So I thought we'll go up to lunchtime. I'm not going to use court time for that. All of that will happen. Consultations and stuff will happen during the lunch break or after court hours, because we on week 6, when I met with everybody before the final transfer to here, all the documents were already exchanged. The videos were already available on the first day that we came here, because you will recall the discussion we had in chambers about the missing video. We've handed that exhibit in last week. You say he's going to be at 11.
I will have my investigating officer just see how far he is, my lord, and have him hurry up as fast as he can be here.
What else do you have?
My lord, for today we have 14, and that should take us for the better part of the day.
No. Are there any further escort witnesses to be called?
My lord, I was to canvass that with Mr. Haramsa. I'm not sure if he's going to challenge that. If he doesn't, then I would ask that admissions be made so we can shorten the proceedings.
It's now 9:51. I'm going to adjourn till 10:30. In other words, it's going to buy like 40 minutes to deal with whatever needs to be dealt with, because that video is not long on the crucial part. If Fortuin is here, we're going to start with Fortuin. If Fortuin's not here, and if there's an escort witness to be called, the escort witness must be here, because it's 40 minutes, it's enough time for people in the area to move. Otherwise, I'm gonna go on with Siekwi. So either, if the escort witness is to be called, the escort witness must be here. If Fortuin is here, we can start with Fortuin, because that will give Ms. Nkabai more time, because Fortuin will take a while, it will take at least a day.
Yes.
Otherwise, I'm going to run with what we have. We're not going to lose court time unnecessarily. At the same time, whilst you want me to sit and play with my fingers, you can discuss amongst each other what happens after Friday. As you're aware, I will not be able to be out of the Cape Town office for lengthy periods for the next 2-3 months. So I will proceed in Cape Town. Question is when. Next week, first week of term, day 1 might be difficult for me, having been out of Cape Town, given my administrative duties that I have to perform in the building. And Friday is Good Friday. So we're going to lose at least a day, day and a half if we sit next week. The week thereafter, the Monday is a public holiday, but we've got the rest of the week. So either we're going on the 14th, or we might go on the 22nd. I want council to discuss it. Because my thinking was that we need to finish the trials within trials, get the argument done, get my order sorted, then we plan further, because then the parties will know which way they have to plan. So you can have those discussions as well. I'll see you at 10:30. Court adjourned. Let's move this thing out of my face.